from Stampers Niche, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator coming to you from Alberta, Canada, and I'm just popping on very quickly to show you this new stamp set called Blooming Phrases. I'm fortunate enough to be part of a swap group that is doing the new online exclusives that are coming out May 6th, and this is the one that I'm doing. And what really caught me right off the bat is just the script. I just love this stretched out scripty kind of look here. But these are really neat too, and you will see that there are tons of things that you can do with these as well. So it's called Blooming Phrases. And in case you're wanting the order number, it's 165523. That's 165523, and it will be available beginning May the 6th. So that is so exciting. You can find it on my website and online shop right there. So I made these for my swaps. So just look at that there. Isn't that neat? So I got the idea actually right from the website. When you click on the image, when you enter the order number, you'll see a picture of this come up. But if you click on that, it will give you way more information and a sample or two or three. And I copied largely this sample from there. So I want you just to take a little note. So where did I get the stems for the flowers? Well, I got it from these little lines at the bottom here. And you can see how like this builds this part right here. You can build it right on. So there's actually, the more you play with it, the more there is to do with it. So why don't I just get started, and it'll give you a fairly good idea of how it works. So I'll put that to the side. On this one here, I used Petunia Pop, Fresh Freesia, and Bubble Bath. So today I thought I'd use a slightly different color combo just for a little bit of interest. And whoops, I need Fresh Freesia back though. There we go. And we'll get started. So we'll put that to the side. So there's our sample. We're going to bring in a card base, and this card base is half a sheet of thick basic white. I like to use thick for a base. Now you could use a colored base too. So it's 4 1/4 by 11, scored in half at 5 1/2. So we'll just fold that over, line up the edges, and then burnish that fold with our bone folder. And we've got the card base, just like that. I'll put that to the side. Then we also have a layer, just to add interest, is going to go on here. And this is 5 1/4 by 4, so just 1/4 of an inch smaller, I believe. Yeah, that's what I'm going to use. And then I cut this out. Now you could just cut a rectangle, but I used the wonderful textured note dies, which I have just buried here. So there are all these gorgeous rectangles, and they all have stitching designs around them. I used, if you start at the largest one, I used the second largest one. So it's part of a bundle. This is the Textured Notes bundle, or the Textured Notes dies. I love the stamp set too, but if you could only get one thing, I definitely would get the dies. They are absolutely super. So that's where I got this. So this is going to layer onto here. It's not going to have equal borders, and that doesn't bother me. And then I've got just a little strip of cardstock here that is 5/8 of an inch wide, and I think it's about 5 inches long. So let's get started. We're going to do our stamping first, and then we'll do the assembly after. Now, because these are photopolymer stamps, or the clear stamps, usually on the glass mat, I don't use one of these, but I wanted to bring in this to remind you to use it, because when you're using photopolymer, you will get a much better impression if you use a cushion. I'm using the Stampin' Pierce mat. One side I use for stamping, the other side I use for piercing, as you can see. So if you don't have one, then use a magazine or whatever, but these are fabulous to have, a tool to have in your stash. So we're going to start with that. I'm going to put a little piece of scrap paper underneath. Well, I don't need it right now. I'll need it in a bit. Let's start with this. So I'm going to start with my darkest color, which is going to be Gorgeous Grape. And I'm going to start with this flower here that looks like a daisy or a cornflower or something like that. I'm going to stamp 3 of them just randomly. These are going to be sort of what I build everything else off of. So there we go. We've got those like that. We can put that to the side and close up the Gorgeous Grape and bring in our next darkest color, which is going to be, whoops, I've got things out of order, Highland Heather. And we're going to bring in the little sprig of flowers here. So there's 3 here. And because I have made many, whoops, now there's a little oopsie there. Good thing for photopolymer. I know where I want to put them. You could put them wherever you wanted, but there we have that. So we've got that done. We'll close up the Highland Heather. Now we're going to bring in our lightest color, Fresh Freesia. And we'll bring in this stamp that's kind of, I'm not sure what it is, but it looks so pretty. And we'll put it like that. So now we've got our collection of flowers. We don't have our stems, but we do have our collection of flowers. And if you're wondering, well, what colors could I use? Just think of like Gerber daisies or some other colors that you might see. Just really, you're an artist, you can use whatever color you want. Then I thought, what green could I put with this? So I brought in my color wheel and I lined it up with the Highland Heather and Gorgeous Grape. I'll put it like that. Where did I have it? Maybe it was Fresh Freesia I used. There we go. So I lined it up with Fresh Freesia, and the green that goes with Fresh Freesia is Lost Lagoon. So I settled on Lost Lagoon for my green here. I could have used Garden Green as well, or any of those. Now here's where a bit of the fun begins. I am going to use this tail of the Hello There stamp to make the stems. Now, the first time I did it, I ended up with some down here, and I didn't really want that because as you can see, a little bit's going to show. So I just took a piece of Post-it notes. You can see I've used it many times, and I'm just masking off the very bottom like that. Now I'm going to ink up this, and I found it easiest for me is if I turned my ink pad and went like this and just caught the tail. If I get some more, it's not going to matter because of this. So we're going to stamp like that. There's a little space. I'm not worried because this is going to cover it, but you can see how I'm getting the stems. And we're just going to keep adding. Whoops, I really got some on there. I am going to just wipe some of that off with a rag here. I don't want to get it on my work. And we will put this one here. Now, because this is really narrow, you don't want to put too much pressure or you're going to get a really wonky looking kind of thing going on. So we've got that one there. So easy with the photopolymer to line up the everything. And there we go. and just one more. And there we have it like that. Now, what I really love about this stamp set is you can just keep building. They have this little leaf. They also have another set of leaves, but I'm going to go with this one here. And I'm going to just add leaves randomly. Just to make it look a little more interesting. Put this one here. And I think this one can go down here. And I think we need one here. And we'll put one up here. I guess you really don't need my commentary as I'm going along, do you? And we'll do one down here, just peeking up. And there seems to be a bit of space here. So we've got it like that. And now we can take this off, and we've got this nice, neat little border here that doesn't have the leaves. So now we're going to put that to the side and bring in this. And we're going to bring back in the same thing we were using for the stem, only we're going to use the whole thing this time. And we're going to stick with Lost Lagoon. So because it's long, I'm going to turn it upside down and go like this. And stamp it on here. Now it's long, so I try to make sure to put some pressure in the middle there so that we have a nice even impression. So we've got it looking just like that, which is lovely, but we have one more thing we're going to add. There are several stamps in this set that will actually fit onto the stem. And so you could leave it like this. It looks perfect, it looks wonderful, but that you can also do this and create this look like that. And it can go right on here like that, and it looks really neat. I must have cut this a smidge shorter than my original one, but I'm still going to see if I can just angle it a smidge, just for a bit of interest. There we go. So we've got our stamping done. Now, while we have our stamps out, I'm going to bring my card base back in, and we're going to stamp something in here. I'm going to put some scrap paper underneath. I should have done this when everything was inky, but I'm going to bring in this one. I'm going to huff on it to reactivate the ink. So the moisture of my breath is going to reactivate it because I just want it to be lighter. So we're gone like that. And I'll do the same with the stem, being very careful because I've got a mess here. So there we have it, and we will bring in the little leaf. And just like that, we have the inside decorated. We can stamp whatever we want in there. So now I'm going to close up my ink, and we're going to start to assemble our card. So move this out of the way. So we have these pieces here, we have the card base, and then we have this piece. And we're going to layer this, and I thought, well, I think this would look neat with some texture. So what I did was I ran it through with the Beautiful Butterflies 3D embossing folder. And so I've got this texture here, and it's going to go down here. I'm just going to layer it to make sure I do like it, because I used a different embossing folder on my other samples. Ooh, I do like it. I can see that right off. So let's get started. Let's glue this right down to the card base. And I don't like putting my adhesive too close to the edges because it'll ooze a little bit. And this is strong adhesive, so it's all good if it doesn't go right to the edge. So now we've got it like that. Now I'm wishing I'd used that on my card swaps, but I didn't, so that's okay. On the back of this one, I am going to put some dimensionals just for interest. It's not absolutely necessary. And I love using the edges of my dimensionals too. every little bit, right? And we'll bring in my garbage container here. Like that. And we'll center this on there. Now I could have used a colored layer behind here too, but those of you who know me know I quite like white. And so this is the way I decided to go for this. And then this is going to go on here. And I think I'll put this on dimensionals too. So let's put a few dimensionals on there. Having a little container for my garbage right on my desk has really changed my life. Of course, static electricity has added its own little flavor. So we've got it like that. And on this, I used linen thread, and I think I'm going to do the same thing here. So linen thread, it comes in a roll and it's super for everything. Now, when I don't have anything to do or if I'm watching a video, I often pre-tie a bunch of linen thread bows so they're ready to go. And I have one all set to go here. So it's going to go like that. So we'll bring in a glue dot to fasten it down. I'm going to roll it as I take it off so that it's long and skinny. Just like that. And I don't mind them going all over the place. If it bothers you, remember, hang on to this, but you can always straighten it or curl it with your bone folder and your thumb. Now all we need to do is embellish it. And I am right now totally in love with these two-tone sparkle gems. So they're in two sizes, a little bit larger and smaller, and then they just seem to pick up whatever color, and they're absolutely perfect for here. So let's add I think maybe 2. Usually I add 3, but with the bow is sort of taking the place of the third one. We'll see how it looks when we're done here. So we've got 2 on there. To me, that looks like enough. We could always add another one down in here somewhere. I think I'm going to leave it right now. I could change my mind in the future, but there you have it. There is one card done in 2 different colors, and you can imagine like in oranges or in blues or in neutral colors. That would look absolutely gorgeous. So those are the 2. Now I just wanted to remind you that there are other things that you can do with this. So for example, on this one here, I brought in my blues, Pool Party, Coastal Cabana, and Azure Afternoon, and I just stamped and built. So because the words are really super, you can build with them and create. You can also put some on the inside. So there's happy, there's thanks, there's birthday, there's celebrate, hello there, anniversary. So you could put happy anniversary, just because, thinking of you. So you're covering a multitude of occasions. And here we just kept it pretty simple. This could go masculine or feminine, I was thinking. So there you have it like that. The other thing is these words will work beautifully with other stamps and other cards that you're making. And of course, these will make wonderful backgrounds or work on other cards as well. So for example, I don't know, a few weeks ago, I showed this example using the Link Together and the paper butterfly accents, but I didn't have words on it. So I took the word happy and put it on here and added a bit of the gold twisted thread separated, so it's nice and gentle. So there, that one is like that. So you can start to use this in so many different ways. And I just think it's an excellent addition to your stamping stash. So perfect for scrapbooking, memory books, cards, whatever. So take a look at it again. The name is Blooming Phrases, and take a good look and see if it's something that suits what you would want. Remember, I love it if you give me a thumbs up or a pardon me, subscribe or any of those. And if you live in Canada and want to purchase any of this, I would be glad to help you too. But of course, go with your regular Stampin' Up! Demonstrator if you have one. If not, I would be glad to be yours. So take care, everybody. Thank you for joining me, and enjoy these cards. Bye-bye.